Apparently, victory for everybody that hates NTR out there. Magical Senpai's Mangaka Azu has been canceled. How dare they make art of NTR, even though it's behind a paywall and you literally have to pay to go get it. But it exists, and that's all that matters. Cancel them. Yes. I'm a little late on this news bit. I honestly wasn't going to cover it just because to give people an idea of how I usually handle news and stuff is I don't typically go by a single source. I usually look into what's causing. I'll go and look at the actual people involved and look at their tweets, their posts, whatnot. Pretty much make sure that everything is 100% true. I just don't like secondhand information. It's easy for people to kind of get caught up in a wrong translation or something like that. And with this particular situation, most of the posts are deleted at this point, so it's hard for me to make sure that what I'm seeing on certain websites is true. But after thinking on it a little bit, I think this is kind of a bigger topic here. This growing trend of people being so disgustingly upset about the existence of NTR. For those that don't know what NTR is, it's Notare, which is basically this idea of having basically two people, they're in a relationship or a perceived relationship. Now, this term is getting more and more broad, by the way. Originally, it's about these two people being in an actual relationship, and then another person comes into the picture and steals one of them away. Why I say it's more broad now is because it's gotten to the point now where even if two characters aren't in a relationship, even if certain groups think that two characters should be together, and then somebody comes into the picture and takes them away, it's called NTR. We had this discussion here recently on the Discord where we were talking about Zom 100, the anime, and how in the earlier segments of it, they were claiming that the main character got NTR'd when he wasn't in a relationship with the coworker at his work before the zombie apocalypse. That's apparently considered NTR now because he wanted her. He never, got with her, but because she was with the boss, that's NTR. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But yeah, to actually give an idea, and again, I fully acknowledge this is all secondhand information because I can't confirm a lot of this stuff because a lot of the posts are deleted at this point. There's screenshots and whatnot available, so it does sort of confirm it. But about a week and a half ago, Tejina Senpai's Mangaka Azu faced a lot of harassment for doing a commission of NTR featuring the main character of Tejina Senpai. After some exchanges here and there, they eventually deleted their Twitter account because of the harassment. And then it went so far as to somebody going to the Tejina Senpai Wikipedia page and adding an extra line in there saying that the main female lead is having relationships with several men. And this set her off. She decided to go out and publicly state, "I found out some trash desecrated the Wikipedia page of Tejima Senpai right after I published this doujinshi. Please note that all characters, including the protagonists, are virgins. Consider this when you see my commissions done on Skeb." Now, what sense does this make to write all this? Precisely for this reason, hentai illustrations are only for adults, both physically and mentally. Yeah, many people are probably going to say, that was not a good move. You should have just let it be. But I think there's a lot of people that are making a lot of assumptions here, trying to figure out what Azu's mentality is here. Some people are saying, well, they recently had a manga that was canceled. They're probably hurting for money. That's why they're taking commissions. We already know that a lot of mangakas and artists and stuff are struggling for money. So taking commissions is obviously a sign they're trying to just make an extra money on the side. But there could be a lot of stress involved with this. And maybe this is why they decided to speak out. They were tired of all this harassment they were getting and they just blurted it out. It happens. But they're not wrong. This is a doujinshi. This is not the official work that's already completed. It's on this site. It's marked as not safe for work. It's not for everybody. It's only for adults. It's almost like saying it's only for adults, so act like an adult. But that's kind of the gist of everything that happened there. They got a commission request. Somebody paid them to make an art that was not safe for work, which included NTR for the main character of Tejina Senpai. People threw a fit, said that they ruined the story. I trusted you. I bought all of your manga, and this is how you pay me back, is you make this art. It makes me sick. You betrayed me. How dare you ruin my character? They throw a fit. They change the Wikipedia. They push the mangaka so far they start deleting their accounts, all over this outrage of NTR. And this is where I'm getting to, again, my deeper subject here and the concept of both the freedom of the artists themselves, this concept of NTR and this massive hatred for it, and in the middle of this expectation that people have upon this art that is like theirs. This sort of gets into the deeper subject of how people get way too invested in stories. Now, fully acknowledging, you guys can watch my Mushoku Mondays, I get extremely emotional when I'm reading certain segments of Mushoku Tensei. I get this deeper personal connection. I envision my own experiences for deeper subjects, and it gets me emotional. And we have several times during my read-through of it that we have certain people get a little bit too heated about certain characters. I criticize a character and people get really angry. And it comes down to that whole thing where I wonder if other people have the ability that I do. I would think that it was common ability for most people to just step out of it. Like when you're reading, yes, get involved, get emotional, get connected to the characters, enjoy the ride. But then you close the book and you go, that was a nice fictitious story. And you walk away. You make that disconnect that they are just drawings on paper. They are just words in a book. But this sort of stuff shows me that that's not normal, apparently. That's not a general thing. There are some people out there that they can't disconnect. That they find what they've read, they find what they've looked at as being this thing that they own. This is my relationship that I have with a story. And since the artist drew something that is against what I want it to be, how dare you? You ruined my character. And it gets really weird. Like I said before, Tejina Senpai's over. The manga's done. And people read it. They enjoyed it. And it doesn't mean the artist can't do something else with it. And again, commissioned behind a paywall. You have to go out of your way to go look at it. But why does this change this? It's a doujinshi. There's tons of it out there. Do people go to these do people go to these Comic-Cons and stuff in Japan and they find all these doujinshis of all these characters of different shows and go, oh, you ruined my character. And they're like, what are you talking about? I did a doujinshi. It's fine. It's just kind of like fan art. It's fan art. It's basically fan fiction. Do people not get the concept of fan fiction? It's been around for a long time. It never affects the canon of the original story. Now you can make the argument this is different because the original author, the original mangaka, but at the same time, it's still fan fiction. The commissioner asked, make a fan fiction of your character in this position. And they drew it. It's not like it's canon. But again, that goes to that bigger, deeper subject of who cares about NTR? Why are people so fixated on this? And again, this is the reason why it kind of tipped me over to making a video on this is we had this happen here recently. The whole Zom 100 situation. The mangaka for Zom 100 was about to quit Zom 100 completely. Like, just finish it, walk away. They were wanting to quit their job because people were attacking them because they were assuming NTR was going to happen in the story. People were so angry about it. And what puzzles me the most is like, there's this existence, this feeling that a lot of people have that NTR is everywhere and they're sick of it. Where is it at? Where is NTR existing? I'm looking at all my manga, looking at all my anime. I don't see NTR. Oh, wait. It does exist. And it's rampant. And doujinshis, hentai. That's where they're getting it. So stop watching those and acting like it exists everywhere. It's like, are you so involved with this thing that it's come to the point where it's everywhere and then you go and you read something that's not it and you're getting angry about it? Maybe the problem is you, not the mangaka, not everything else. Stop trying to, and again, I think that's because they've conditioned their minds so much that NTR is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere because they're looking at all this hentai and all this other stuff. And so when they see a sign of it existing somewhere else, like Zom 100, they flip out. No, don't put it here too. Well, you're apparently ingesting plenty of it over here. Why not have it over here? I mean, here's an idea. Take a break from porn. I mean, the other question is, are you looking for porn for relationships and romance? I mean, are you the type to read the articles in the mags? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. That's the only place it's at, so just avoid it. It's not prevalent unless you actually look for it, I guess is the best way to put it. I mean, it's perfectly fine to watch porn. I'm not judging people for watching porn. I'm not like some saint or anything here, but it's just weird to equate it to the mass. It's like all these arguments you get from like mainstream media where they say that manga is full of young characters, and it's like, because you're looking for it. It's absolutely bizarre. But even still, like I said with the whole Zom 100 situation, if it happens, guess what? In my opinion, it's what the writer wanted to do. Get over it. It's nothing, that's not your story. Magical Senpai is not your story. Sure, you bought it, and guess what? You bought the whole set. I would assume that you read the whole thing. It's done. So it's done. So anything beyond this doesn't exist, really. But it doesn't change the fact that you don't own Azu's capability. You don't own Azu as a person. They can do whatever the hell they want. So it doesn't make sense to me why the outrage. Again, who cares if Azu wants to make a couple more extra bucks making NTR of their characters? Again, you don't have to pay for it. And essentially go to the Wikipedia page and damage the perspective of what the actual story is that has nothing to do with random art they made. Doesn't make sense. If that was the case, go to every single Wikipedia page and edit every single one of them, because every single one of them has a doujinshi somewhere that has all this crazy stuff in it. It doesn't make sense when you step back and think about it. And again, it doesn't make sense when you step out of the story and disconnect yourself for a couple seconds. As the term goes, touch grass, you'll realize it's not that big of a deal. People honestly scare me sometimes. And again, I understand that a lot of this stuff is just kind of in a bottle over here. It's like a very small little bottle over here. It's never the broader audience. Most people that you're going to see are going to say that, you know, look, I don't like NTR too, but this is stupid. There should be no reason why people are doing this. But it's so scary that even still, like, I'm looking through comments and it's responses to the articles made about this whole situation. And it's surprising to me how many people are saying, good, finally, canceling did something good. I don't usually like harassing mangakas and stuff, but this was for once for a good cause. We stopped NTR from happening. Again, you don't have to go. I would imagine that every single one of those people hasn't even seen the original art. They probably don't even know what Azu drew. They just assume one of these mangakas was going to do NTR, and we got him. Again, NTR is not that prevalent. It's only prevalent when you go searching for it on inappropriate websites. That's your doing. You're looking for it. So don't bring it out into the broader audience. And now having 2 cases of mangakas literally wanting to quit their jobs because of NTR it's getting ridiculous. But now that I'm getting to the point where I don't even know if I've covered everything that I want to cover or if I want to cover more, it's a good point to stop right here. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole Magical Senpai situation. Like I said, I originally wasn't going to cover it. A couple people were asking me my opinion about the whole situation. They already knew what my opinion is going to be on it, that people need to go touch grass. That's typically my response to these canceling things, but it's just sad. Overall, it's just sad. It's obvious that Azu is not doing well. They seem, based on a lot of the posts that I've seen, they're just taking this way too personally. And as I've said several times before, it's one of those hard things where I want to tell people, if you can't take criticism, step away from social media because it's just full of it. But at the same time, they have to. Like, a lot of these people have to have a social appearance, and I think that's really where they probably should hand it off to maybe a third party, somebody that handles their accounts and posts all the stuff they want to post, and they handle all the negative feedback. But it's just an existence that's always there, and it sucks that it just ruins so many people. That unfortunately they just can't take that heat. When with this growing trend of people just being like super sensitive about NTR, it's not going to go anywhere. But what it all comes down to in the end is, this is Azu. This is their art, their choice. They're trying to make an extra buck on the side. It's paywalled. Who gives a crap? Touch grass. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on the whole situation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you think of this whole situation. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content and news, reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. I don't have a fan box. Sorry, I don't do drawings of NTR commissions. Y'all take care.